This is going to be my second attempt to convert the truck to natural gas by fuel. Previously tried to put an aspirated system, however the electronic throttle didn't cooperate and it wouldn't work. So this is pretty much what you get in the kit. I'm going to try to take it out and explain what the parts are. It looks a little simpler than the aspirated system, so hopefully it won't be as difficult. First thing, this is just an on-off switch for the gas. That's going to be connected to, got some parts here. This is the regulator, pressure regulator, so it drops the pressure from 3600 psi to I'm not sure what, but something manageable. So that switch is going to turn the gas on and off to this. When you turn the ignition on, it'll add pressure. So also it came with 2 filters. I don't know why 2, but I'll figure that out later. These are just fuel filters for gas. Another one. And this is the high pressure hose. I believe it's like 6 millimeter. What does it say on there? Yes, 6 millimeter. Steel tubing. Some other hoses. I'm probably going to use like, this is going to be the hose for the it's sequential injection, so these would be the hoses to the injectors that the gas is going to go to. These are the fuel rails. So what it does is it picks up the signal from your fuel injectors and turns these on and off to give each cylinder a shot of natural gas. This kit is actually made so that you drill out right by the intake manifold, right by the valves, intake valves, and then you would inject it right into the manifold. However, I bought some spacers that go right underneath the fuel injectors to just inject right in the same hole where the fuel injectors are, and it won't require any drilling into my intake manifold. But this is the way it's made. It comes with that. This is another rail, because it's going to be an 8-cylinder. You've got 4 here and 4 more there. This is your ECU. This is your brain. It's hard to do this one hand. 2 plugs. Wiring harnesses go in there. You mount this on the firewall and wire it up. In this bag is a little switch that goes in your dashboard to turn it on and off. Has little LEDs to show you how much fuel you have left in your natural gas tank. This is just a it's actually to measure vacuum, so it tells the computer how much vacuum, how much demand for fuel you have, and you hook it up to your vacuum line, and it uses that measurement to help calibrate. This is actually a temperature sensor. It goes into the regulator because it needs to know when the gas goes from high compression to low compression. It gets really cold, so you don't want it to freeze over. There's actually you're going to have coolant going through this thing to keep it warm, but this is just kind of like a safety measure so it doesn't freeze over. What else we got here? This is actually called an emulator. This system is made for 4 cylinders. This plug right here, but this is to add another 4 to make it a V8 for 8-cylinder, and they work together. So if you're working on a 4-cylinder, you just need this, and you add this for another 4 more cylinders. this is actually a cord to plug into your laptop to change some settings, to adjust it so that it knows what it's working with. You have some hardware. I forgot what this was. What is this? This is, oh, I know what this is. Those LEDs, when they show, it shows how much fuel you have left in your tank. It works on pressure. So this is a pressure gauge, and it connects to your regulator, and sends an electronic signal to those LEDs to show that how much gas you have. And this is just a connector for that. We have two wiring harnesses. I'm going to pause for a second so I get this open. Okay, I took the wiring harnesses out of the bag and took the twist ties off them so we can take them apart easier. This looks like the main one. So let's untangle this harness. So it looks pretty, not too difficult. So let's say like that gray. Imagine if it's like for like, you would plug gray into gray. I haven't done this yet, but I'll figure it out as we go. So plug it in there. You got now I'm kind of making it up as we go because I don't know what G3 is. I can actually, hold on. I'm switching over to the laptop with the instructions, and comes with software called what's it called? Mac Pro. And in there has an installation diagram and Adobe file, and then everything's labeled G1, G2, G3, G4. So the wiring harness is labeled also. So it tells you where. So I saw G3. It says serial PC interface. So let me see if that's where that cable attaches to for the computer. And sure enough, it does. So that's where I'm going to hook up my laptop so I can program it. And it's got instructions on how to program, etc. But everything so far, it's labeled, and I've got some wiring, and it tells you where it goes. Not too bad. What's interesting is that the other system I used was taking a lot of readings off of the motor's sensors, but this doesn't. It just intercepts the signal from the fuel injectors and changes it to these. So it shuts off the fuel injectors and then sends a signal to here to feed it natural gas. And everything is the same with your ECU on your car. Your car doesn't know any different. It just says, I'm running too lean, so I'm going to add less fuel. I'm running too rich or too lean. I'm adding more fuel. Too rich, I'm adding less fuel. And the timing is the same, etc. This harness here is where you plug in to, you unplug your fuel injectors, and pretty much let me take a look-see here. Pause. Okay, we're back. I've untangled the harnesses so it's easier to understand. This, you unplug your fuel injectors and then you plug one of these into where the ejector is, and then the other one into the wire that feeds that injector. So what it's doing is it's bypassing the injector when it wants, and then it adds it back on. So it's a way to turn on and off your fuel injectors right there. Yeah, 4 of them. There's another 4 here. This plugs into those rails. So this turns on and off those relays to add natural gas. I've got 4 here and 4 here. Easy peasy. This looks like a ground wire. And yellow, I believe, I'm not sure, but I'll figure that out. Let's see what this is. I can't even read it. N3. What's that N3? Let's go see over here. Pause here. N3 is for just in case it says you don't have to do this, but for some reason you get a check engine light or something like that. This is to bypass your oxygen sensor to tell the computer everything's fine, but it's not necessary to connect this. So we're going to go from there, and if I have problems, then we'll try to tweak it with that. But that's what the yellow wire's for. There's also an orange one out there that goes on the other end, and that will fake out the computer telling everything's fine. Okay, back. I'm working on this harness again. So this was G5. So come over here, G5. Signal blue. Oh, I'm stuck on that one. Okay, let's start from the beginning here. See if I can find G1. Okay, this should be G1. We just have, it goes to your battery and ground. Pretty simple.